Hey everybody, it's Corey, the Veteran Trainer. Welcome back to the channel. All right, today is going to be the third and final installment on the 3-day split beginners program for those of us in our 40s, 50s, and older. All right, it's going to be legs and core. It's going to be very simple, very straightforward, and it's going to make you excited to continue doing your legs because that's what we want. We want you to continue doing legs and don't skip leg day. Okay, so with that, I hope you enjoy the video, and I'll see you at the finish line. Okay, so the template here is going to be very similar to the previous videos. And what I mean by that is we're going to be conducting 4 sets per exercise. The only difference here is we're going to be hitting that 10 to 15 rep range. All right. Also, because today is leg focus, we're going to be doing 3 exercises all focused on our lower body. All right. We're going to start off with some goblet squats. I'll demonstrate and conduct in a minute. And then we're going to do some stiff-legged deadlifts, and then we're going to do some walking lunges, and that'll cover our 3 exercises for our legs. And then we're going to finish off with just one simple core exercise. Okay, and when it comes to the core exercises, it's really going to boil down to choosing what works well for you. The one I'm going to be doing today is what's been working well for me. All right. Okay, so starting off with our first exercise, goblet squats. And if you're unfamiliar, basically, this is just like you would imagine. We're going to be conducting squats, but we're just not going to be loading a bar on our back. All right. So if you're unfamiliar, basically what we will be doing is holding a weight up at our chest height in front of us, something that's manageable and easy to handle as we conduct the movement. All right. What you see here holding my hands, I have what is called like a squat wedge, or used for elevating your heels, or if this is not available, you also can utilize weight plates to give you that little bit of elevation for your heels off the floor. If you don't have any of those available, not required. Okay, we can do these flat on the floor, with our feet flat on the floor. Okay, it's not a big deal. It's not a game changer. Okay, so before we get started, I'm just going to walk through technique so that you're conducting this properly and allowing yourself to get the focus on the muscles that you need to be working here. All right. People have a tendency when they conduct squats is to always be kind of lowering your upper body down when you go down. And we want to eliminate that completely. We want to get you used to doing this properly so that when you get to the point you start to weight load on your back, and what I mean by that is when you're using a barbell or your Smith machine, that you're going to be conducting this in a fashion that's not going to be, blowing your back out. Okay. So legs, shoulder width apart, toes slightly canted outwards. And I want you to keep your hands out in front of you. Okay. And as we go down, focus on keeping your back and your head up. Okay. And when we go down, we want to try to eliminate our knees going out beyond our feet. We want to try and bring them down and sticking our butt out the back as we go down. Okay, so we're going to go down also just to about 90 degrees, maybe slightly higher than that. So we're not going too low, all right, but we're going low enough that you're forcing the muscles to activate. All right, and then up, and when we come back up to the top, we don't want to snap our legs back and hyperextend our knees. Okay, we want to eliminate that potential of injury there as well. So again, if you have your arms out in front of you, there's another way to help you keep your balance. All right. Or if your arms out in front of you like so, whichever you feel most comfortable with. The arms out in front of you may be best for you to help with your balance. Okay, but the focus here is keeping that back as vertical as possible and keeping your knees from going forward of your feet. All right. Okay, so another point to focus on here is as we are going down, we're breathing in and then exhaling on the way up. So in, exhaling on the way up. All right. All right. Here, I'm going to just demonstrate real quick the wedges. So these wedges, they have a mark here. I bought these off Amazon. At this point here, this is 1 inch. At this point here, this is 2 inches. I'm not exactly sure of the height there. Probably 2.5 to 3 inches. Anyway, we want to probably be placing our heels at the 1 inch mark, so the back of our foot, okay, when we're conducting these, if you're going to be utilizing wedges. All right, so This one will help you to feel a little less vulnerable from falling forward, and it's going to help target those quads a little bit more. That is the one benefit from using these wedges. Okay, so if you're using plates, the same principle applies, all right? We just want to get our heels up on it, and it's going to be the same stance that we're conducting the exercise if we weren't using them, all right? So again, it's just going to help you to maintain your balance, and it's going to target those quads a little bit more as you're going through the movement. Okay, so now we've covered some of the breathing techniques, the wedge techniques, and just the overall performance of the exercise. I'm going to show you now using a dumbbell, all right? So you want to grab first off, it's a dumbbell where the weight is not going to be hindering you, okay? When I talk about weight selection, again, a weight that is going to allow you to perform the exercise within the requested reps. So I'm choosing a weight where I can effectively conduct 10 to 15, all right? And I'm not going to be hurting myself or sacrificing technique, okay? So I want to hold it as if I'm putting the dumbbell in my hands like a saddle, and I'm just holding it in front of me, okay? So my feet shoulder width apart, toes slightly out, and again, I'm just down slow and up, not hyperextending the knees and not going too low. In, out, in and out, in and out. Nice and easy. Under control down, under control up, not speeding up the movement. Focus on your breathing. There you have it. All right. That's number one. Okay, so for set two, what I'm going to demonstrate is if you find the dumbbell, holding it in this position is not comfortable or it's affecting your balance, there's another variation, try holding it in front of you like so and conducting the movement the same you would any other way, and just ensure that you're allowing the dumbbell to just hang. You're not doing any lifting with your shoulders or arms. And again, the same principles to apply on conducting the exercise. And then you can simply drop it when you're done, all right? This will work just the same if you're using a kettlebell. If you have a kettlebell at your disposal, this is exactly the same as holding a dumbbell between your legs, and just down and up. Really focus on keeping that back straight. Don't allow the weight to pull you forward, okay? Focus is on the legs. You want to remove any opportunity of your upper body doing any of the work here. Your hands are simply an anchor holding the weight. Let your legs do the work. And then when you're done, on the floor. There you go. Okay, so the last example I'm going to give you, if you don't have dumbbells, you don't have kettlebells, but you have weight plates at your disposal, all right, same idea, holding it out in front of you and just going through the motions like you would without it. Hold it close to your chest, or even if it's not too cumbersome, just holding it with your hands out in front of you, maintaining your balance. There you have it. All right, so that was exercise one, squats, more focused on doing them what's called goblet squats, and we were using either dumbbells, weight plates, or kettlebells, and I showed you a quick demo there also using weight plates for your heels to get them elevated, or the actual squat wedges. All right, so next exercise is going to be RDLs. Okay, so for RDLs, we can conduct them with a barbell, or we can conduct them with dumbbells, or we can even use the kettlebell. All right, so stick around, check it out. Okay, so if you're familiar with deadlifts, this is going to be very similar to conducting deadlifts. The only difference here is that we're going to be remaining rigid from this point down. There'll be a slight bend backwards, but as we bend down, we're going to try to keep these as still as possible because the focus is going to be our hamstrings here. That's the primary muscle that we're working here, all right? There'll be some compound activation here too in our glutes, maybe in our lower back, all right? But the main focus here is going to be our hamstrings. Okay, so as we're conducting the movement, before we get into using the weights, our feet are going to be just a little narrower than shoulder width apart, all right? As I start the movement, I'm going to stick my butt out a little bit, and at this point here, I'm going to lock my legs. So I'm not bending at the knees, I'm hinging at the back, at the waist, and I'm coming down. I get to this point, I'm going to feel that complete stretch in the hamstrings, okay, our primary muscle we're working, and then I'm going to come back up, okay? Now here's where it can get a little tricky. Some people like to think conducting the movement should be down and all the way up, okay? Down and all the way up, all right? I find that if you're coming all the way up, you're taking a lot of that focus off the hamstrings and then putting it on your back, okay? I find, again, my opinion. So I've taken this from another influencer that I've learned from who does this exercise as well. Going down as you start your exercise and just coming up partially. So at this point right here, there's still stress on the hamstrings. So as I'm conducting the movement, that focus is never coming off the hamstrings, and I'm really getting that work. Okay, so now we're going to get into using dumbbells. All right, again, weight selection, very important not to overload, okay? The more weight you have, the more activation in your lower back and your glutes you're going to have here, okay? If we can find a weight that we can manage easily, sorry, not easily, but manage effectively for us to be able to get to that 10 to 15 rep range and really activate those hamstrings. Without a doubt, you will get some glute and back activation. Again, it's a compound exercise. So weight selection here is very important. And I only have 25-pound dumbbells here, okay? So with the dumbbells, our hands are simply anchors only, okay? We want to do as much. We have to ensure we're not using our arms, our shoulders, or anything like that to help us lift the weight, okay? You're purely focused on your hamstrings, your glutes, and your lower back here, all right? So again, starting down. And I'm stopping at about the 45-degree angle. Down. Focus on that stretch in your hamstrings. Create that mind-muscle connection. There we go. All right. So again, we're going to be conducting 4 sets, and we're aiming for 10 to 15 reps here. Okay? All right. Narrower than shoulder width apart. Dumbbells in front. Hands are just anchors. Lock the legs. Butt out. Lock the legs down. Nice and slow, under control on the way down and the way up. So again, if you choose at this point, when you're conducting your movement, if you're going to come up for that split second, it will take a little bit of tension off your lower back. So it's almost like a split second rest for your back, okay? If you're going to maintain doing the 45, you will notice the activation in your lower back. That goes without saying. If you come all the way up, there will be that slight break on your lower back and glutes and hamstrings for that matter. Okay, so again, it's going to be how you choose to conduct the movement. It all boils down to personal preference. Okay, so there you have it. That's exercise number 2. All right, RDLs. All right, so moving on to exercise number 3. And exercise number 3 is going to be walking lunges. All right, you need a fair amount of space to conduct this, or we can do it stationary. For this exercise as well, we're going to be doing them non-weighted, okay? So it's going to be focusing on your balance at the same time activating those muscles within your legs to conduct the exercise, okay? So I just kind of want to steer away from the weight at this point, just so that you can focus on that quality of technique here, all right? Let's do this. Okay, so I'm going to demonstrate stationary first. And what the requirement will be here is to do 10 reps a side, okay, for 4 sets, right? Let's do it. Okay, so before we get into the walking lunges, I'm gonna show you and break down how to do them stationary, all right? First off, you will probably require something just to steady yourself so you can get used to conducting this exercise before you get into doing them without anything. Once we build up our stabilizer muscles and get used to conducting the exercise, you will find yourself becoming more comfortable with doing this without having something to balance yourself, all right? So I'm just using my machine here, whatever it can be. It could be a chair, a wall, whatever the case may be, okay? So what we wanna do here, at this point, we're just gonna put one leg back, okay? Plant the heel, and like conducting squats, we want the knee to stay above the foot. We don't want it going forward of the foot, all right? So we want it to stay above the foot. And we're going to do 10 aside, okay? And then we're going to switch legs, all right? So it's just down right before your knee touches the floor and up, okay? Down and up. Inhale, exhale. Once you get to 10, you're going to switch around, put that foot back. That foot is not planted on the floor back there. You're basically on your toes, your rear foot. And then again, down. Don't drive your knee into the floor. Just hovering above the floor as you go down. All right, so there you have it for stationary, okay? Okay, so as we improve and we no longer require holding on to something to steady ourselves, like I said, it's going to be 1 foot forward. This now where I want your hands is either on your sides or even out in front of you for stability, all right, to help with balance. Okay, and then it's just down and up, and up, in and out. And then when we change around, same thing, okay? Down and up, down and up, in and out. Okay, if you can see me down here, hello everyone. Now I'm going to demonstrate the walking lunges, okay? And we're doing this without weight, all right? So you can either have your hands at your sides, hands out in front of you, whatever's going to make you feel comfortable and help you maintain your balance, okay? And we're going to do 5 one way, or if you have the space, do 10. In my case here, I've got enough space to do 5 aside. I'll turn around and do 5 aside back, all right? Nice and easy. Do not drive your knee into the floor, okay? Nice wide step so that you can ensure that you're keeping your your knee above your feet. Okay, and turn around. Check out my buns. Focus on your breathing too. In and out, in and out. All right, so with that, we're going to conduct that 4 times as well, all right? So that was 10 aside, 4 times. Okay, check it out. All right, one more time so you can see it a little better. I know the lighting's not that great there. Nice wide step, knee above the foot, and not driving your opposite knee into the floor, okay? There you have it. Knees at your sides or out front here for balance. And there we go. All right. Okay, so there you have our 3 leg exercises for day 3 of the training split. We got 1 exercise left, and that's going to be a core exercise. All right. I'm going to demonstrate the exercise I'm doing, If it's something you're incapable of doing, I completely understand, because this can be, it can wreak a bit of havoc on the knees. All right. But if you need to find something suitable, it needs to be something that can provide you, allow you to get your heart rate going, you know, and it's going to be that kind of total body exercise. Okay. So again, this is just my example. I could probably list off a hockey sock list of exercises. But honestly, if you just research core exercises, there's a multitude of them out there. Find one that best works for you. Okay. And the only thing I'm asking is that we're going to be conducting 4 sets at 30 seconds. Okay. So that is the stipulation here. All right. Check it out. My exercise, I don't know the actual name because I've heard it called many different things. It is essentially a side lunge alternating dumbbell lifts or something to that effect. Anyway. Okay. So again, it's alternating dumbbell side lunges. We'll go with that one. All right, check it out. So before we start, I'm just going to go through the conduct of the exercise, okay? So, alternating dumbbell side lunges, all right? That's what we're calling. So I want your feet quite wide here, all right? We're not doing the splits. What we're going to be doing, your feet are going to remain stationary in this position. So my dumbbells, I will have a dumbbell in each hand when I start. And as I'm begin, I'm going to place a dumbbell down. I'm going to come up. And I'm going to place the dumbbell down. All right, with my opposite hand, I'm over exaggerating the movement. Okay. And I'm basically going to be following this rhythm right here. All right. You know, just maintain your breathing as you're doing the exercise. Okay. And then we're going to do this for 30 seconds. Okay. And we'll do it for 4 sets. All right. Okay, so check it out. Okay, so before we begin, weight selection. Okay, weight selection is going to be something fairly light, at 5 and 10 pound dumbbells, okay? All right, so ready to begin? 4 sets for 30 seconds. Okay, so here we go. You have your timer started. And then you begin, all right? Down, down, up, up, down, down. Up, up, down, down. Over exaggerating the movement. Maintain your rhythm. Not too fast and not slow. You want to get your heart rate up. All right, there we go. 3 more. All right, set 2. Over exaggerating that movement helps to engage that core, that midsection. All right, 2 to go. I just realized if you find it difficult to focus on the clock or your timer or whatever the case may be, simply 30 reps. Okay, we're doing 15 a side. All right, set number 3. Probably one of the most important things I forgot to mention is hydrate between sets, okay? And focus on that minute to minute and a half rest, all right, before you get into the next set. All right, number 4, last set, last exercise. Let's make it a good one. Okay, begin. All right. Whew. Gets the heart pumping. There we go. Okay, so there you have it. That was day 3, 3-day split beginners training program, legs and core. All right. Let me catch my breath. Okay. Like I said in the other 2 videos, very simple, very straightforward. All right. I want to get you in and out of that gym without you getting too overwhelmed and worrying about what everyone else is doing around you. Okay. Focus on what you need to get done, smash it out, and then you can get out of there and carry on with the rest of your day. All right. Whoa, gets the heart going. Wow. So if there is any substitutions you require, please leave a comment and let's find something else that we can find suitable for you to work around whatever it is, injury-wise or whatever the case may be, okay? The idea here, so you're not overwhelmed with having to train every single day and what do I need to do every single day? This is just day 1 off, 2 off, 3 off, all right? And any 3 days you want. It doesn't have to be Monday, Wednesday, Friday, whatever 3 days work for you, okay? And that's why this plan can work. It's simple, it's flexible, and we can interchange exercises to accommodate, all right? And you're 30 to 45, 50 minutes and you're out of the gym, okay? If you're at home, even better, all right? Whew, I'm winded. I feel good. I hope you do too. You know, and I'm excited for you guys and gals out there to start working on this, to establish that routine, establish that consistency, and then get to a point where you're like, okay, Corey, I'm ready to start ramping it up more. I need more, all right? 4, 6, 8 weeks time, we can look at saying, okay, what's next? How do I evolve, all right? And we'll get to that after, all right? So I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for the love and support. Hit the like button and share it with your friends. And I'll see you next time. Corey Noel, the Veteran Trainer, out.